Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is amazing, with an amazing lineup of three-dimensional, well-developed characters, really cool-looking fights, and an amazing, deep, complex plot. But today, I want to talk about the philosophy of one of these characters. Today, we are going to talk about the homunculus Greed. The being known as Father divided up his 7 virtues into 7 different creatures. These immortal creatures were known as the homunculus. The thing is, the homunculus aren't really immortal. They are powered by philosopher stones that are created using the energy from the souls of the people that the people of Amestris have slaughtered over the years under the order of Fuhrer King Bradley, another amazing character that I may talk about in the future. Because of this, when a homunculus' philosopher stone runs out of power, they will die. This allows them to live to be over 200 years old. However, if they take enough damage in a fight, as Lutz did during her battle with Roy Mustang, they can die. As stated earlier, these 7 homunculus are based off of the 7 virtues, or the 7 deadly sins of Christianity. And it would have been very easy for Arikawa to make very generic villains off of it. Greed, sloth, wrath, lust, pride. But she didn't do that. She created some of the best characters I have ever seen. So today, we're going to dive into the philosophy of greed. The first thing you need to understand about greed is that when he was introduced, he came across as obviously very greedy. He called himself Greed the Avaricious and claimed that he wanted money, sex, and women. He demanded the finer things in life. Upon learning about the situation of Alphonse Elric, he decided he wanted to know how Alphonse did it, because he liked the idea of a body that couldn't go to the bathroom, eat, or sleep. He enjoyed this concept. He wanted a body like the one Alphonse had, because out of all the things he wanted, he craved immortality. He straight up told Alphonse he was over 200 years old and still was not satisfied. And he had already broken off from his fellow homunculus. We actually do not learn in the series why he did this. All we know is that he did stop working with them. Most likely because he was just too greedy. Then of course, Wrath, or Fuhrer King Bradley, shows up and kills all of his friends. He is brought back to Father, where he is killed, and is removed from the story for quite some time. It is not until he is recreated by Father, using the body of Ling Yao, that he is reintroduced to the story. Now I will talk about his dynamic with Ling in another video, but today I prefer to mainly focus on Greed himself, and not Greed and Ling as a duo, because I think Greed alone is a good enough character. Greed shows immense displeasure in working with Father. Not because he disagrees with what Father is doing, just because he doesn't really interest him. It doesn't give Greed anything, and if he's not getting what he wants, then why should he do it? He's Greed after all. So he eventually ends up actually encountering a survivor from his old group of friends and regains his memory. However, even once regaining his memory, Greed goes on to put up this facade. Much like King Bradley, he puts up this facade, as I stated earlier, that he wants money, sex, and women. He puts up a facade about that, when that isn't actually what Greed wants. But we'll get into that later. But he puts up this facade and ends up eventually working against the Father alongside Edward Elric and the rest of the main cast. However, he even takes charge there and says, like, I'm the captain of this ship, like, it's all about him. And then we get the scene where he explains the virtues of greed to Edward Elric in what I think is the thing that makes me love greed. Because most forms of fiction would illustrate greed as a bad thing. However, in Fullmetal Alchemist, being greedy is kind of a good thing sometimes.
You want to bring back someone that you've lost. You might want money. Maybe you want women. Or you might want to protect the world. These are all common things people want. Things that their hearts desire. Greed may not be good, but it's not so bad either. You humans think greed is just for money and power, but everyone wants something they don't have.
This is what separates greed from the typical greedy character. Greed isn't just greedy. Greed is somebody who understands greed. He understands that any desire that you have that is to attain something you don't have is greed. Asking for world peace is greedy because we don't have world peace. So, is it really that bad to be greedy? If there was no greed, would we even progress at all as a society? I think where I break my promise, and I talk about Ling Yao a little bit. Ling Yao cares greatly about the people that are important to him. And because of the fact that him and Greed spent a lot of time together, Greed began to care a lot about others as well. And it was at this time passed that Ling Yao started to realize what Greed wanted the very most. Alphonse Elric had just sacrificed his life to return Ed his arm. And Ling Yao revealed to the audience what Greed wanted truly the most. He wanted friends like this. So as he had been working with Ed, Al, and all these people all this time, no matter how much he acts like he's doing it for a selfish reason, he truly does want to be their friend. Greed wants to have friends like Ed, and he thinks about this as he watches Ed humble father into the ground. Greed is not human. He is a homunculus. He is literally only all of Father's greed put into a physical form. However, in this moment, Greed realizes that all he wants to do is have friends. And many of the people around here, Ed, Ling, they all do consider him a friend. And now we need to talk about what Edward realized at the end of the series when he went to retrieve his brother. After being told by Truth if he was to sacrifice his portal of truth, he would never be able to use alchemy again, Ed thinks of his friends and realizes that whether or not he has all this power doesn't matter. What's important is the connection between humans. And that even though humans are terrible creatures that do terrible things and make horrible mistakes and have a lot to learn, it is our ability to form connection with other humans that makes us special. That is the reason Father lost, because he was unable to form a connection with others. And Greed, who is just literally the manifestation of Father's greed, was able to do just that. And in the end, Greed doesn't die for himself, but he dies to protect those he calls friends. He dies doing something selfless, not something greedy. Before Greed goes in to finish off Father, Ling Yao pleads with him to let them beat him together. So, he reaches out inside his soul to grab Ling's hand so they can work together, and he punches Ling in the face, proclaiming that that was the only lie he ever told in his entire life, and he was going to end this his way, calling Ling a total sucker. But you could tell he didn't mean it. Greed was doing this because he wanted to protect Ling. The fact that the physical manifestation of Father's greed was the only homunculus to be able to see truth just as Edward did is absolutely amazing to me. He saw that there was nothing that he wanted more than human connection, just like Edward saw that there was nothing more important than human connection. And I find that absolutely amazing. Now, a large part of the other reason I love Greed does have to do with his dynamic with Ling Yao after they are put together. But that is a discussion for another time.